Whether you're trying to hire a new person or work with an agency, the very first step is really figuring out if you're sitting across the table from the right person. If that person is a match, if they have the skills. The problem is that people don't come with scorecards that tell you exactly who they are and whether or not they're a good fit for you. Or do they? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, here's the show. Welcome to More Than a Few Words, marketing conversation for business owners. MTFW is part of the Digital Toolbox, and this is your host, Lorraine Ball. And today I'm talking to Benjamin Bressington. He is an Australian social engineer. He's a people hacker who uses artificial intelligence to hack influence and persuasion, sharing tips on how to connect with people faster. Benjamin, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm super excited to be here.
I'm really excited we're having this conversation because I think too many of us struggle with exactly this issue, how to figure out what makes people tick. Am I talking to the right person? And you seem to feel that you've got a lock on how we can cut through some of the clutter and get to the right people and the right conversations.
Yeah, well, it comes from doing it wrong for the first 10 years of my life. And let's be honest, I sucked at conversations, I sucked at sales, and I was one of those shy introverts who was scared of their shadow. And when you get thrown into the sales arena, or you know what, I'm going to start a business or I'm going to become a consultant, and then you go to a marketing course and like, oh, you got to sell yourself. Oh, crap, I'd rather go to the dentist than sell myself, right? So the thing is you got to learn really quickly if you want to put some bread on the table. So I'm going to hit it real quick, Lorraine. So just out of the gate, I'm going to give people some gold nuggets. So if they want to write this down, that's great. The biggest mistake I see people making when they're hiring a marketing agency, hiring a person, finding somebody that they want to onboard with, or even if you're selling, most people make this mistake and it's ridiculous. You sell to yourself, right? You think you're talking to your personality. And here's the secret. There's 4 personality styles, and 2 of them kind of repulse each other. So I'm certain if you think about it right now, you've had a client that just pissed you off, right? I'm sure you're picturing that person's in their head and you're like, that person was a complete whatever, right?
Mhm.
The thing is, you can be aware of that and you can detect that. If you could actually detect personality, you can actually change your style and connect with that person the way they need you to connect with. And that's one of the biggest mistakes. So, and one of the things I see is with that, people are just pitching the wrong people. They're not realizing, well, hold on, who is this person I'm talking to? And they may be a detailed numbers based person, for example. So, therefore, when they talk back to me in numbers, I'm not going to give a crap. I'm not going to care. Like they end up not speaking your language. Can you relate to any of this, Lorraine?
Oh my goodness, yes. One of the things that I learned early in my career without really thinking about it until much later when I went back and reflected on it was I always had to have a yin to my yang on my
Mm-hmm.
team. I'm
Mm-hmm.
big picture. I'm the
Mm-hmm.
idea person. And once I've
Mm-hmm.
had the idea, as far as I'm concerned, it's done. And
Yep.
there's a million little details that take that idea to completion.
You mean the execution, right? Like the whole
Yes.
execution thing, the seeing it through, or maybe having to make edits to a draft that you wrote because you thought it was perfect, but you missed the 50 typos and the whatever, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's the stuff. Yep.
And so finding that person who was, I used to say they were the Thomas Edison to my Benjamin Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
I was out there getting electrocuted with a kite and a key, and they were doing the 100 trials to get it to work. So
Yep.
totally appreciate that there are different personality styles. But you said when we were talking before the show that there were 4 main personality styles that we could look for.
Yeah, and most people actually may have done some type of personality assessment, and I usually go, "Well, what are you?" And they're like, and I can't remember, or it was like a myriad of 20 letters, and I'm like, whatever. So the thing is, we created a personality style system using 4 birds. You're either an eagle, which means you're taking charge. Just think of an eagle, right? The next one is what I call the pigeon, or you may call it the dove, depending on where you're based. The pigeon is a flighty animal. Just think of the pigeons in Central Park, or when you walk up to them in the park. They're a they're a social animal, right? They're the ones that when you take them to lunch, they can't decide what they're going to eat, and they're going to ask what everyone else had. They're going to look around the restaurant, see what everybody else had, right? So that's our pigeon friend, right? The other one is, I call this one Vegas, because it's the peacock. They got the glitz, the glamour. They're going to have the stylish shoes. They're looking for status and influence. And you know what? They get upset when you stop talking to them or making it about them, right? So the thing is that person, just think of Vegas when they're walking down the Vegas Strip. You can tell those people, right? And then the last one is what I call the thinker. And this is the owl. And the owl is the know it all. This is the person that wants the blueprints. They want the white paper. They want to research every client you've spoken to. They want to talk to at least 3 to 5 references. And you know what? They want a background check, a criminal check. And they're going to ask you what your blood type is just in case they need to know, right? So the thing is, if you're aware of those 4 birds, you can actually start to change the way you do sales. You can start to change the way you communicate and hire people, because you can be aware of, like, hey, how is this eagle going to work with this peacock? Because this eagle is task action driven. And you know what? I don't care about what you did this weekend. I want to know what the result is and when you're going to get that deliverable to me. You know what the peacock gets upset with? You didn't ask me what happened on the weekend, and I got this super cool story that happened this morning when I put on my pants, and it's just not as fun anymore. And the thing is because they're all about the people and the social interaction. And to run a company effectively, you need to be able to connect with and map all 4 of these personalities. And that's even where that sole entrepreneur, who's the control freak, if you've got to do everything yourself, well, when you start to hire an assistant or when you start to hire a team, you may find some struggle, some resistance there that you have to work through, because it's all about what you're doing and how you're connecting with others. And if you fail this connection, that's why I called my book People Ignorant, because, like, unfortunately, I feel we've become ignorant in the ways to connect with people, the ways to read people. What do you think?
I absolutely agree with you. I am somewhere between an eagle and a peacock. When things are going well, I can channel my peacock. When things are not going well, I am totally the eagle, and the pigeons make me crazy. And that is the challenge, but it's also the benefit, because if you find the right pigeon, if you find, and you're an eagle and you find the right pigeon, they're going to pull you back a little bit. They're going to slow you down a little bit and maybe make you ask a couple of questions. And on the other hand, you can pull them along. You can maybe hurry them up gently. But you can't talk to somebody who's an eagle the same way that you would a pigeon. And I agree with you that we've forgotten how to do this sometimes.
100%. And this is one of the biggest mistakes. And people might be saying, well, but Ben, how the hell do we do this? This sounds like I've got to go learn something. I'm like, hey, look, in less than an hour, I can get you more advanced in people awareness skills than ever before. But what's exciting about this is we literally created some software that converts an email address or a LinkedIn profile into a full personality assessment. So you don't have to go and do 150 personality assessment questionnaire because to determine the personality. And some people are like, oh, so you want me to email 150 questions to people I want to hire, or like the leads I'm talking to? No way in hell is a lead actually going to complete an assessment. What we do is our artificial intelligence we created will literally analyze the words they're using and turn the words they're already using into their personality type. So you imagine this. You're about to go sit with a lead, right? They could be worth $5,000 a month or $50,000 a month, right? You could, in 15 seconds or less, identify their personality type, which then tells you their motivations, their desires, their frustrations, their stressors. So before you instantly sit down with them, you can build rapport faster. You connect with them faster. You can even see, look, this isn't going to go the right way, or I have to be aware of not coming across too dickish, because an
Mhm,
eagle can appear
mhm,
as a dick to, or too arrogant to, for example, the pigeon. So they need to slow
mhm.
their roll. They need to change a little bit. So it's all about you being that chameleon type personality. And you'll find life gets a lot better. This is easy to connect with people at home, with their spouse and their kids and things like that, because you can use the ability to connect in every situation.
Awesome. Okay, so if someone wants to learn more about this assessment and this artificial intelligence tool, where do they go?
They can hit up at behaviorsales.com. So it's just really easy. Behavior sales, you can spell it the English way or the American way. It really doesn't matter. You'll end up in the same place. And if they reach out to our support team and mention this podcast, we'll give them a free training and bonus. So that's all available for them if they want to reach out and say hello.
Awesome. Well, this has been fabulous. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
My pleasure. Super excited to be here.
I'm going to encourage everybody to check out the behaviorsales.com because I really think there's a lot of wisdom in knowing who you're talking to and how you need to talk to them. And if you're looking for other resources for your business, be sure to check out digitaltoolbox.club. Look for MTFW wherever you listen to podcasts. This has been another episode of